All right, so today we are going to look at the professional considerations. And after our lecture today, you are ready for 35 marks questions. So when we start looking at the questions, you should be able to give an output. Then, like on the professional considerations, the issues that we will be discussing today includes money laundering. Money laundering is a current issue for somebody who is writing audit and assurance. But for somebody who is writing an advanced audit and assurance, it is a main issue. So we will do money laundering. Then we will do auditor's liability and professional skepticism. Then we will do practice management. Practice management. Then I want to revisit corporate governance. But the aspect of corporate governance that I want to look at today is internal audits. I think we actually mentioned them the last time, but we'll just do a recap on it. All right, so these are the issues there that we are going to discuss, where even when we're doing the internal audit, those of you in public sector were giving us important and salient information about how it works there. So let's start with money laundering. Let's start with money laundering. And be careful about money laundering because of the news of Galamsey that is hitting our land. Be careful about it as something to write on in your exam. Now, in dealing with money laundering, we are not going to have surface tension discussion, but we are going to have a class of discussion by defining money laundering. So we'll be looking at the definition. Then after we have defined it, we will look at the 3 stages of money laundering. Then when we are done with the 3 stages of money laundering, then we will talk about the auditor's responsibility. The auditor's responsibility in terms of money laundering. So these are the areas that we are supposed to focus on. Now, what is money laundering? Any idea? Any idea what it is? Any idea what money laundering is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
It's like when you make money from criminal activities and you want to find ways to legitimize the money. So you try to make it, you wash the money and make it look clean, like it was derived from a legitimate business.
All right. Eben. Ebenezer, your hand is up.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Can you hear me? Yes, sir. Okay, so money laundering, let me say, processes by which criminals conceal or like hide the true source of their illegally obtained funds or money, that is in an attempt to make it seem to be from a legitimate source. Just as my brother just said.
Yeah, so those two helps a lot. So he was talking about the fact that somebody has had money illegally and he wants to make it look like he had money legally. Yeah, so he used the word wash. In fact, that is it. When you go to the laundry service, you wash the money. So that is what is happening. And you have also introduced in 2 important words, which we say hide or to conceal. So these 2 explanations that you have given, or these 2 definitions that you have given, perfectly befit the definition of money laundering. So it's either the person is trying to conceal, all right, the true source of his illegitimate income, all right, the true source of the money, or he's trying to hide it. So here, what we are saying is that, and I've told my students always that if you see a word with TION or SION or TING or ING, it means the thing is a process. So money laundering is actually a process. It's a process. And it is a process by which criminals conceal or hide the true source of their illegitimate funds. So the money is not from a legitimate source like Galamsey, but the people try to make it as if it is coming from a cool place. So basically that is it. So the money laundering is not the money. The money laundering is the hiding. All right. The money laundering is not really the money. Money laundering is the hiding, or like my friend says, the washing. Trying to wash the thing so that it will look as if it is coming from a legitimate source. So that is what money laundering is about. All right. So that is that. That is that. Now, who can give me an example? Just an example. Just an example, please.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Breaching of health and safety. Breaching of health and safety of an organization.
You break the health and safety codes of an organization to get the money. Did I hear somebody say Cecilia Adapa?
Yes.
Please,
example
easy.
of
You don't have evidence.
Example of money laundering. You say Cecilia Adapa. Hey.
That is very, very unfair.
Hey. Disclaimer, I disassociate myself from.
Yeah, tax evasion. I didn't come to class. I didn't come to class today.
Where Johnny?
Okay. Anyway. All right. So those are the examples of it. I mean, using Galamsey money to even build a hospital. As if the person is good, Ama. But you have destroyed the waters. And you are creating a hospital to accommodate those who have you injured. And people will say you are a good man building a hospital. It's funny. So that is that. Now, you see, when you are able to steal money, I don't know about you guys, but I have had a chance of stealing before. And when you steal money, the problem is not the money you stole. The problem is how you will chop the money. For example, if and my mother used to trick me like that. You see, the lid of the utensil, she had a particular position she has done it. So when she comes and I've taken some meat out of the soup, which is a normal practice. I mean, every kid, it is just these 2,000 people who don't do those things. But in the
Gen Z generation,
those people, in the olden days, this was something that was common. So my mother will posit the lid of the that thing that is on top of the lid, that thing that holds the handle. She'll posit it in a way that immediately she comes and somebody has taken something out of the soup, it is clear. It's clear. And you see, in those days, we used to have some 1 Ghana cedi currency paper. Then 1 Ghana cedi, was it 1,000 or 1 Ghana? I've forgotten it. Because the 1 Ghana cedi came in 2007. Yeah, it was 1,000. Yeah, it was 1,000. Yeah,
it was 10,000.
Oh, was it 10,000 or
10,000.
It was 10,000. I forgot
Yes,
it.
sir. 10,000.
It's interesting, though. And we used to have, are you sure it was 10,000? I thought it was 1,000. Well, those days
The
where we
time
used to have white paper currency, one white be. Then we used to have 1,500, 500. That was,
There was thousand.
It was
yeah,
1,000 with
yeah,
some green.
Yeah, there was
yeah.
thousand.
Then we also had some 500 CD coin, or
Yeah, the
very
brown one.
heavy, small one,
50,
brown
50,
one.
50,
Yes.
Was it 50 or 500? It was 500 though.
500.
50.
It was
500
500.
was
Now
not converted to
550.
50
500.
pesos.
The coin,
Yeah,
some
it was
brown coin.
500. Round coin, yeah. See, some people
Brown
are there,
letter,
they don't know what we're
everyone.
talking about. Yeah. So, I mean, you could steal those monies, but the challenge is how to chop the money, because you see, your income is not up to that money. And so once you start buying some things, people will know that there's something wrong somewhere. So that is the problem. So stealing the money I always make this example that as I'm sitting here, if I have $5 million as I'm sitting here, the problem is not the fact that I have $5 million. The problem is how I will chop the $5 million. Because I will try to go and buy some expensive stuff, and they will say, but this guy is teaching that is that. He teaches all the time. That I'm staying here, teaching here, teaching here, teaching here, teaching here. Where will he get the $5 million? Yes. Unless I tell them that a big member of my family died and people decided to bring huge in somebody. So that and nobody is there too. So how did I get the money? So that is the issue about money laundering. So the person who has taken the money now faces the challenge to chop the money. And so he goes through a 3-step process to try and chop the money. And the first one is what we call placement. Placement. So now the person has the money. He has to try and get rid of that cash in exchange of something else. So placement simply means getting rid of the money in exchange of something else. Because see, if you go to the bank and you say you are depositing $5 million, you'll be arrested. Yeah, you'll be arrested. Yeah. So a friend of mine, when the banking sector cleanup happened, and he was working in UT Bank, he works in Star Assurance, Star Life, and Star Life I think was using Unibank, and so the claims that he has to pay to some of the, claim officers at the various, he was in the head office at the various centers. The company put the money in his personal account at Ghana Commercial Bank because Unibank was going off. And he had to go and withdraw the money to give to the claim officers. He said he went there and they told him that, we are coming. And I said, it is not we are coming. Check. When you were opening the account, what was the maximum bracket you put there? You know, when you're opening a bank account, there's a maximum bracket that you put in the form. I asked him, what was the maximum bracket? And he said it was, if you remember, it was 50,000, and that he also quoted the source of his income is salary. You know, all these things you put on the banking form. Then, per what they were doing, it now came to the fact that they wanted to confirm how come this guy is having 170,000 Ghana cedis, because your salary is not even up to that amount. So where are you getting the money from? So they call Yoko on you, straight up. But the company Star Life had to come in and explain their situation. So getting rid of the money is a problem. So what the person who has stolen the money is going to do is that he's going to exchange the money for something else. He's going to exchange the money for something else. So let me give you an example. A typical example is these people, and please bear with me, is the gym people, the betting people. Sometimes it is said the hotel people. I don't know if you agree with that. Because, you know, when it comes to building, the money goes, it never comes back. By the time the money is coming back, it comes in the form of a rent. So the return of the money is coming like, oh, somebody rented something, like somebody stayed in the hotel and is giving. So the return of the money is what you see, but not how the money entered inside the building. I don't know if you get the situation. And so people are also trying to tie it with real estate people, those who are doing real estate businesses. You see, and for some of them, it is all about the building. Even if nobody is renting, they don't mind, because all that they did was to secure the money within the building. So people are also trying to tie the whole thing to real estate too. Like those people who are into real estate are likely to be practicing money laundering. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, what
Estate
happens is
developers. Somebody has sent estate developers. Yes,
what
please.
happens with the estate developers is that if they want to launder their money, what they do is that after the building is finished, the price is very high.
Hmm?
They price the building extremely high, so that if they bring the money and they tell you that it is proceeds from the money, you look at their pricing and say that then from their pricing, it is true that they can make this amount of money from it.
I'm getting your picture. But if you are able to pay them that money, then it means that you have given them clean money.
No, it is their own people who come and rent.
Oh, really?
In attempt to wash their money. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a different dimension to this.
Are you getting it? Like we are into money laundering. Then
Oh, the person's slide dropped.
Sir, please, do you understand what he's saying? He's literally trying to say that, okay, so he will be like, okay, I am selling this apartment for 500K USD. Meanwhile, in actual sense, it may be about around 300. So if he should build 10 and sell 500, he's likely to make more money. And then as such, if he's going to the bank, it will make sense even if they see his prices and all that. So that is another
Oh, I
structure.
now get the picture you are
like I
trying.
said, you get it.
So
It's
let's
like a
say
syndicate.
so let's say in reality, the money is not even up to the 500K, but that is how it has been made to look like. So you
to
see
outsiders.
to outsiders. But it's a big business he's doing. But meanwhile, it is the money he was just trying to use the money that he stole to do the construction.
Yes.
Then what may be coming in the public? Oh, it is $500,000. But meanwhile, it is not like that. I get it now. Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yes, Emmanuel, your hand is up.
Thank you, sir. Does it mean that the people who buy are their own people, or we ordinary workers or ordinary citizens can also
Not
approach them
ordinary
and buy
workers.
some?
Not ordinary workers. Like it's a syndicate. Let's say
It's a
cartel
syndicate.
of about 15 people.
Okay.
Then about 5 people opens up a company, an estate development company. They finish,
Yes, sir.
and the price is extremely high. Then their own people will come to buy. So let's say 500,000.
Their own counterpart within the.
So when they are taking that money, and if they make about $5 million, you look at the prices of their building and the number of buildings they have sold, I don't think you will question it.
Yeah, you can't question him. It will even come to your mind.
Thank you, sir.
So they are getting rid of the cash in exchange for something else. Another one is to stake a lotto, like do what do they call it? Betting. So when he wins the money, it is flagged up. So like more, he won it through betting. But when he loses, he doesn't care. I mean, so he will lose some, win some, then automatically the thing gets mixed up. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that one too is there. even the gym, and they can tell you that is it Rahi? Your hand is up. Rahi, yeah, your hand is up. If you have something to say.
Yes, yes. I wanted to add that what the real estate does is that it offers the 3 stages at a go. So you can do the placement, you can do the layering, you can do the integration all at once.
Hey, today you people are opening
And
my eyes. I
some aspects
suffice
of
to
it has
say
been
that
shared
you
by my
guys are into
colleagues
money
on the
laundering.
platform.
The
So
way
yes, well, I work in a bank, so I'm giving training so that I can identify some
okay,
of these
okay,
things, but
okay.
it's very difficult. So, for example, somebody is into real estate, and a person says, "I have off takers."
Mm-hmm.
So, off takers means I have people who are ready to pay you the money before you complete the structure. Now, they can pay the money a year, 2 years, 5 years before. That is one. Then they will come to the bank and take a facility and say that we need a facility in addition to what the off-takers have given us to complete the buildings and then start selling. So what has happened is that there has been placement and there has been
There has been lessons.
transactions. When they start
Yeah.
selling, then integration has actually occurred and you can't really trace
Yeah.
even the funds anymore. Yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah, that's very true.
thank you.
That's very true. Oh, so somebody says that you are a
Allow
money
Rahi,
laundering
allow
reporting
Rahi,
officer.
allow Rahi, allow Rahi.
Oh, that's very, very interesting. In fact, I think you have summed it up. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. So, like we've given the examples, these are what you see. That is honestly, this is why I love a matured class. Teaching this thing in a university, you won't get this kind of explanations that you people are giving.
Actually, the loan
But
they
you should
take is
just
just a,
watch
the loan they take is
The
just a cover
Godfather
up.
and Mexican Soup.
Come again?
A movie by a Mexican soap, Godfather.
Oh, really?
I
So
think that's
no,
what
The
it is.
Godfather is actually a mafia, yeah, a mafia movie. And when you watch it,
Yeah,
you actually learn a lot
understand
about
money
money
laundering.
laundering.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
what's the
Godfather
title
is
of
a
the movie
character.
again?
The title.
Oh, The Godfather is, yeah, it's
It's called The
actually
Godfather.
The Godfather is but I'll
So
prefer
that
you read the book. The book is
I
more
will let
interesting than the
the
movie.
students try and get
Right
that one. Oh.
at this time, book reading. Let's watch the movie when we
Okay.
All right,
finish
so
Where
the
please
was
let's
class.
right?
continue.
Okay, I hear.
All right, so you try to get rid of the money so that in essence, so like all the examples that you guys have given, those are part of it. Somebody even said casino and all those things. Now, another one is to even, let's say if you stole Ghana cedis, you will change it to dollar. And when you are changing it to dollar, it will reduce the money. So it will become smaller. Of course, if you take, let's say 16,000 Ghana cedis now, then you go and $1 is equal to 16 cedis. Then you realize that when you exchange it in dollar, it will be something small. So these are things that people do, all right? These are things that people do. Then the second stage is the layering. I think Rahi also commented on that. Layering is simple. Layering is just the thing it's just like the thing we learned in science that is called segmentation. So you have one layer here, then you build another on top, then you build another on top, you build another on top. Sometimes another one will be built here, one will cross here, one will cross, like all that the aim is to try and make complex transactions. So you are moving the money around. And I like the example that she gave. That one is very interesting. Taking the facility and making the thing look like as if it's the bank money that is doing the construction, everything. So they make the transaction so complex. Open one account here, pass it through here, go. It's a simple transaction, but you see that the movement is so much. So once the movement become plenty like that, it makes it very difficult to put a trail on it. Like she said, it makes it very, very difficult for you to trace the original one. So people are buying, they trade this investment, they put the money, it passes here. And I believe that some people in Ghana are actually good at this. I'm not talking about some of these politicians. They are actually very, very good at that. In fact, it is even said that in this current administration, one will intentionally cause what we call judgment debt and let the person collect the money. You take you to court. I don't know if you guys heard that when the Cecilia Dapa case actually subsided, it was said that she was going to sue Ghana for defamation. That we have not had any proof that she stole the money, but we have defamed her. And therefore, she is going to now sue Ghana and we will pay an extra money to her. I don't know if you guys heard that part of that side. So it is said that they intentionally do stuff, then you will have to pay, the nation will have to pay money. Then those people that they are paying the money to are the same people. Like, so it's the same. You take the money. And so it will be very difficult for another government to come and say, oh, we paid you an illegal. It is the court that will decide that the money has to be paid. All these are allegations anyway, but it kind of give you an idea how the extent to which the money laundering is taking shapes, like how things are taking shapes. All right. And in layering to the same thing happens. The money passes here, it goes to another place. Transactions are cumbersome, everything like very, very difficult for you to trace. So simply put, when we talk about layering, what we are trying to say is that it is switching the money into various transactions just to make it difficult to trace. All right, just to make it, building layers of transactions just to make it difficult for you to trade the true source of the initial transaction. So basically, that is what layering is trying to do. Then the last one she mentioned is the integration. Now, will you be able to tell whether a laundered money is the one that constructed the building or the facility they took from the bank is the one that constructed the building? And by the time you realize, people have, like she said, they said that people have already paid money 2-3 years before the construction is done. And so how will you know that this one is an illegal money that started the construction cry in the first place? At the integration stage, the money is clean and it is ready for use. It's very clean and it is ready for use. So I don't know how those of you who are lovers of football, at a point in time, they said that UK is a dumping site for money laundering. Because when the oil people started buying the clubs and everything, they felt like this money that people are using to buy the club is money laundering. And it skyrocketed the prices of players. That is how it started. Yeah. So at the integration stage, what you realize is that at this stage, the money is clean. It is back in the system. And it is within us. We all chop the same currency. So these are the 3 stages of money laundering. And if you have any question, you can ask now. All right. So at the integration stage, the money is now clean and it becomes that. So if somebody uses galamsey money and he won't tell you it's galamsey money, and through this one is not a real estate or developers, but they build a hospital. You go to the hospital, you pay something. What you are paying is legitimate money. It can show off, and you won't even know the number of people that pass through the hospital. They can create these things themselves and tell you that 80 million people passed through the hospital. 5 million came to the hospital. They all paid 1 Ghana cedi, so we have 5 million. How will you prove that it is not so? Will you start chasing people? And notably is cash transactions. In fact, cash transactions are very, very difficult to actually help you know that there is money laundering activity that has gone on. In fact, cash transaction is, for example, our women that do trade, Ashama market, Bode market, all these markets, they go to the market, they come with cash. Nobody pays with ATM card, buying onion or tomatoes. It doesn't happen. So if these market women now come and they say that today market was good, they had 1 billion, how will you know that it is true or it is not true? How? So cash transactions are one of the key things that people use to exchange the money, place the money. All right, so that is that. Now, why are we learning this? We are not Iyoko members. We are not bankers like Rahi. So why are we learning this? We are auditors. Of what importance is this thing to us and to our examination? Now, just as Rahi said that she has been attending training for that, so are auditors too, because you too, you will be auditing. And why are we concerned about the money laundering? Because the auditor has a responsibility, and especially since the case of Enron and Nathan Anderson, it has become of concern that auditors check some of these things. All right, because first of all, what you should understand is that an auditor has an obligation under ISA 315. ISA 315. And ISA 315 talks about understanding the entity and its environment. Understanding the entity and its environment. So you need to know the entity that you are going to audit. As a matter of fact, it is said that in knowing this client, so this one is one that we call KYC, know your client. Not just knowing your client in terms of their organogram, but also the sources of their revenue. The sources of their revenue. You are supposed to know that. You are supposed to know that. And every auditor is meant to also report suspicions. But you are first supposed to know the true source of your client's revenue. In other sense, ethically, this is called due diligence. We call it client due diligence. So you are supposed to do KYC on your client. That is the first thing every audit firm must do. If you are going to audit someone, you have to understand the entity and its environment, know how the industry works and how they can get their money and all those things. Sort of. All right. Then,
hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Sorry, sir, please, I had problem with my network joining, but I've got the other two layers, stages, the layering and the integration. But the first one, I didn't get that one. I had already started, so I don't know if maybe you can briefly make a recap on the
You go
placement.
back and watch the video.
Okay.
Now, the next thing is to appoint a money laundering reporting officer. A money laundering reporting officer. They say, Rahi, you are a money laundering reporting officer. So, what are some of your functions? What do you do?
Actually, I'm not a money laundering reporting officer. I am a business developer, or what we generally call marketing. And it is most of the time for such transactions or for customers who do this transaction, it is us who go prospecting them because we've seen a business that is booming. This account can give you deposit, can give you
And you pay 230
other
Ghana cedi for your book. All these things you are saying.
So, and then the training is done across. And then if the training is not done across and it's limited to just a unit, like I said, those of us who are bringing in the wolf are a lot more than those who are actually keeping the wolves out. So then we are giving
But guys,
a similar training.
Can you even see that the way she speaks English is even different because of the job she does? and she paid
Accept.
230 for the book.
You is okay. I'm going. Bye bye.
Nah, don't go, please.
Don't go. We are enjoying your talk. Don't go.
Easy. All right. So apart from you understanding the entity and how they get their money, internally in your own auditing firm, you are supposed to appoint the person we call a money laundering reporting officer. So with this money laundering reporting officer, he will receive all the informations information of suspicions. So if you are working on a client job and you see all these things, there should be somebody that you are supposed to report to internally. I mean, in your audit firm. All right, you are supposed to report. Then when you want to do external reporting, you report it to the regulators. All right, the yokos and all those people. So those are for external, but internally you are supposed to have a money laundering reporting officer, then external. But most importantly, you need to train your staff. That thing is very, very, very important. You need to train your staff. All right. So like she goes for the training. Training is very, very important. It's something that Ghana, it's a big problem. Training of staff. People don't believe their staff will stay, so they don't like training them. Why are you training them? You are training them to be able to spot suspicious transactions. All right, so that they can actually report to the money laundering reporting officer. They can actually report to him, so that the money laundering reporting officer will in turn report it externally. All right, so you have to train your staff. And it is said that in these things you have to try and avoid all forms of tip-offs. You don't make any signs for the client to know that you have seen that he is doing money laundering. So train your staff, report internally, all right? Know your client and everything that he or she does, all right? Then even when you are doing the audit, take note of suspicious transactions. I mean, there are some 1 or 2 things that you could see that something that could have been solved very simply. You see that they are using some creative means. I mean, you've heard of the things that are happening in Ghana. Somebody creating a company so that he can be paid for something that he doesn't do. All right, all these things. I have worked in companies where the engineering team will bring invoices, huge invoices. They will tell you that that's the most quality one. You will pay the money and they will do a U-turn to the person where the money was paid to collect their share. All these things, they happen. All these things happen. All right, so you have to be very... Yes, please.
Please, I have a question.
Oh, ask.
So now some companies, what they do is that the bank have decided to stop those loans and overdrafts, and then rather give out a revolver. A revolver in a sense that when you take the money, you pay back in about 30 days time. Because if they give the money to them long term, it doesn't come back. So you pay and then you apply for some. So now what some companies are doing is that maybe they want the money to do their own thing, or they use a part of the money for their personal gains. Then they more like, if you want to buy, let's say, you will liaise with your supplier. The bank will transfer the money to the supplier, and then the supplier will transfer it back to you for your own thing. Then when it's time to pay, you pay back, and you do the same thing over and over again. I want to
Can you
know, is it
clarify
kind
that
of...
one? I'm not getting it well.
Is it not a kickback?
So let's assume
Ignacio, you
you
said,
need to buy...
Is it not a kickback?
No, not kickback pay. So let's assume you have a deal with the bank for facility. So the bank will only pay to your supplier straight, instead of giving you the money to pay the supplier.
Okay.
So the company
It's like the way we
liaises with
do
the supplier.
LC stuff,
LC,
right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But this time it is a revolver.
Okay.
So the company will liaise with the supplier that, okay, I am going to request this amount from the bank, so that they
Let
will
me
pay
draw it so
you.
that class will follow suit. So this is the bank. This is you, the entity. You, the entity, you have a supplier.
A supplier.
So instead of the bank giving you the loan for you to pay the supplier, the
They
bank
will
is
pay
giving
the
the
supplier
money to the
to the
supplier.
supplier straight.
Then the supplier will give you the entity, the money.
Yes, the money. So
Uh-huh.
they liaise with them because maybe he needs the money to do his personal thing, and he doesn't need the money to trade. But per the terms agreed, they can only pay the supplier straight.
Supplier. Oh, okay.
So I want to know, is it a form of laundering or what?
Well, it depends on what the money is all about. We said that criminals are hiding the money. But per what you are telling me, it is a clear laundering. Because per what you are telling me, it's kind of seem that pay this guy the money, then this guy gives me the money. But
Yes,
what
please.
did he pay this guy for if you didn't do a transaction with the guy? So you are trying to create a scenario that makes it as because before a bank can pay the supplier, you give the bank commercial invoice, sometimes
Yes,
bill of
please.
lading
Invoice. Yes,
and
please.
everything. So you are basically saying that all those documents that are provided to the bank, they are scam.
Well,
The
yes, sir.
transaction
In a
never
sense.
happened. Yes,
Yes.
then
It's
you
just
are
a
doing
formality.
yes, it's money laundering. It's money
Hey, then
laundering.
just come on, Papa.
No, then it's then it's dangerous. Because if these things don't exist, it means you manufactured bill of ladings, you manufactured invoices of something that never existed. So it means that this guy is going to have money, but he has hidden the true source of the money inside providing some form of document for it. Because bank will never pay anything. The way I have suffered with banks because of exports transaction, import and export transactions, where you don't have document, they will let you sign undertaking. 3 months has come, the document is not there. You want to make another payment, they will hold on to the payment. Bank of Ghana regulations and all those things. Then you are able to manufacture an invoice with supporting documents, maybe. Then the money goes to the supplier, and the supplier knows he hasn't supplied anything for money, and so the supplier has to pay you back the money. It's as simple as what I said. Like, I think that is what brought this thing up, that I have worked in entities whereby we will write check. If that one is even a check, then this guy will come and collect the check as if he did something. He didn't do anything. He goes, take the check, goes to the bank, cash out the check, then come and give it back to the person here. Then maybe 70-30, they do it and they take the money. It's dangerous, money laundering. But you see, the truth is that this banker, so far as he has documents, may not know that it is legit or illegitimate. Of course, most of the bankers, but some of the banks may do scrutiny of the document. Yeah. And these are what technology is trying to solve. These are the things technology is trying to solve. But Africa, it will take a while. It will take a while. We will get there by George Kojo.
Thank you. Yeah, to add to what he's saying, personal experience, sometimes consumer credit. So I have television already, I have fridge in my room, but I go to the shop, then they give me these invoices. I take it to the bank and then they give me a payment order, which is payable to the shop. So I go and then I give it to the shop. They take it to the bank and take the money, and then probably I give them some tips. So that is what he's referring to.
Yeah, wow. Oh, so things are happening. Things are actually happening. Thank you so much. Yes, please.
These are happening in Ghana.
So in that sense, the Kojo will be paying the money out of his monthly salary paid by date. Yet he has another money to do other stuff. Is that what he's saying?
Kojo is the only person that can answer the question.
Sure. Normally, if you are going for such loans, they'll ask you to bring an invoice from the shop you are buying the thing from. Or I want to buy a car. I have a car already, but I want to buy a car. So I go to the vendor, we do everything. do those transfers in my name and everything, and then I take it to the bank that, okay, I've bought the car. They give me the money back, and then I have the money. I even don't take the car away. So with this, normally it is for home appliances and then all these stuffs. So I have television already. So you will not come to my room to verify if I bought the television or I did not buy. But it's an arrangement with the shopkeepers. Normally we give them tips.
Hey, now
I
if you
remember
don't
one
give
time
tips, you think
I had
they will
microwave already. I want to buy microwave. Then they said, no, if it is a consumer credit loan, which the rate is a little bit lower. So I agreed, and then I went to one shop. The man gave me an invoice. I went to the bank, and then they approved the loan to me, and then I took the banker's draft to the shop. As if purportedly I'm going for the item, but I did not take any item. He just went to the bank, and he does it for most of the staff, and then he also takes a small cooler.
Interesting.
Bacho, just
May
give
I?
me. I'll take your number so that
Ghana stay by plan.
I need television. I need
We are
television.
learning a lot. We are learning.
May I come in, please?
You are in
Okay,
already.
so the scenario you have painted is actually an avenue that a money launderer can actually take advantage of, but may not be money laundering per se. For example, for you to know that this thing is money laundering means that the first cash or the first funds or deposit ought to have come from a criminal activity or an illicit activity or
The
illicit
one that is
transaction.
already in the bank.
Not necessarily. The one that is yet to come to the bank.
Oh, okay.
So just as I'm saying, so what you describe, you are trying to Accra stay by plan, get money. You are not laundering money. You are just cheating the system.
Oh, yeah. Per what they are saying.
Yes. Assuming somebody runs arms trade and the person has a bulk of cash sitting at home, and the person doesn't want to place it, then the person can actually do it through the bank because people are taking appliances from all manner of places, and when they go, they don't even take the appliances anyway. Then the person can actually, use it as a conduit to launder the money. But for what you did, it's not money laundry. You are just staying by
You're
plan.
beating the
It is
system.
okay. Yeah.
You
So
are smart.
We call
exactly. I
that
just
aggressive tax planning.
aka chubu, ucha chubu. But
Yeah.
for it to be money laundry, the funds ought to have
The
come
funds, yeah.
from an illicit transaction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
Question before she goes. Who would then take advantage of this situation to launder money? Is it the shop attendant or the one going for the loan?
Okay, the one going for the loan may be a move, he'll be used, but the shop attendant and probably the banker
Yeah, the
could
banker
be in
himself.
it,
Yeah.
or it could be all three of them. But the one going for the loan is just an individual. You can't go for the loan over and over again. So there has to be a lot of those who will go for the loan. So you can actually orchestrate it and like
So
have
this
it as
one-
a syndication and do it. But this one, on bread though, they should just do real estate.
Watch it.
Dorcas,
Wow.
your
So
hand was
this one will
up
be.
before.
So this one will be in a form of placement. If you said they should need, they need more people.
Well, it could be it could also lead to all three forms. So for example, if somebody takes the loan and then goes and pick the item or doesn't pick the item and is paid back and the person goes again for it, that is kind of you've done a number of transactions. So layering has actually occurred. And when it gets repeated, and for example, it moves from just buying appliances, now the person is getting to buying cars, etc. Then you are moving to integration, where you can't even trace the funds back to its original form. Thank you.
That's it. Dorcas, I want to hear from you.
Say,
She has answered my question because I was getting confused with these corruption activities where government officials would, they would go in for money for contracts and then by the end, na half a mumboto. So I was getting confused, but she has clarified everything for me. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's fine. Class, thank you. All right. So these are the things that happens that you should be mindful of. All right. But like she brought in government people, and so one of the things you should also pay attention to when a question is about money laundering is those PEPs. We call them the politically exposed persons. So when you are reading the question, be careful. You see, like we all know, these politicians, when they are not in power, you see them, even the way they dress, how they come to church, how they live in the community, you see them. We all see them. Now, when they win power, between the time they won power and 6 months, by the time you see them, they are in the first V8. They are here. They tell you, oh, all you need to just call me, putting you into like everything. They have access to what we say public funds. Yeah, let me call it like that. Public funds. Access to public funds, which shouldn't have been. Like they have some form of, do I say advantage or power, just to enrich themselves. Now, so if you see these people who are connected to politics in your question, be careful, and they are signs and symptoms of money laundering. We call them the politically exposed people, where you have people who have who are easily exposed to these kind of funds. All right. So public funds and all those public connections and how they use it, you have to really understand the true source of their money to be able to distinguish between the fact that they are kind of money launderers or not. All right. So those are the things that you should check. All right. So that is that. Okay. Now, we need to learn something, discuss something we call ethical guidance. Now, it's just something small, because sometimes the question is like, what are some of the ethical things you will do, some ethical guidance approaches that you can take to be able to deal with this kind of money laundering issues. All right, so we need to just discuss some things. Now, you see, the whole thing is that sometimes when you as an auditor, you are going to audit a company. Probably there was a previous auditor there before who spotted all these things, but decided to keep the mouth shut and just leave the place. All right. And so what normally happens is that there is something called professional clearance in audit. In professional clearance, what happens is that you talk to the previous auditor for his go ahead. It's kind of a respect. You are talking to him that, oh, these people called me on for an audit. I have seen that you were the previous auditor there. Is there a reason why you left, or is there a reason for me to be concerned for auditing this kind of company? Just to know about the integrity of the company. So it's part of the ethical guidance that you can take. It's called ethical guidance. There's a need for ethical guidance, and one of them, key one, is called professional clearance. In fact, one of the things students like writing is this particular thing. Once you explain to them, you will see it always in the answer in ethics. The current auditor should seek permission from it's not permission. It's not really about permission. It's about guiding. Like the person cannot say, don't go and do the work or do the work or anything. No, it is you have to decide. But however, you will seek the clearance, kind of have an engagement, a guidance as to how to go around this. All right. And so the money laundering situation, as we know, as we have said, is a very complex situation. All right. So that is why you need this kind of ethical guidance to make use of how you will deal with the money laundering situation. Anyway, you can also have a framework, all right, so that in that framework, when you see any situation that kind of fit into that framework, then you can now decide to say that I have spotted the money laundering activity. So you can have your own guidance framework. We call it a ethical framework. You can decide to say that when you see A means there is this. Okay. So, I mean, all that you are doing is that you are putting out some guidelines that can help you have an interaction between sites of money laundering, because at the end of the day, you have to give an audit report and you have to make sure that these things did not elude you. All right. So it's just a discussive bit. Like, is there a need for us to have an ethical guidance in dealing with this money laundering activity? Yes, there is. All right. So that it can smoothen the operations. And again, it is helpful because you see, there is a legal aspect of all these things that we are talking about. It reduces your legal burdens anyway if you have some ethical guidance. Because if you don't know, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So if you don't have guidance in dealing with these kind of money laundering activity, then you can be caught too short. All right. So you need guidance in handling these things so that it can reduce your legal burdens. All right. So basically that is that. So maybe I think Saturday is the day we will have the time to go through some questions. You will see that they present some form of question. Your job is to be able to spot the money laundering activities. Like how you see from the question, this one, there's money laundering. I've already given you a sign that be careful of these people, politically exposed person. Be careful. I also said that be careful of cash transactions. And when you see a layering happening, I think you will see it. Per what the discussion that we've had so far, that you will see it. And you have the responsibility of going through to do these three things or 4 things as an auditor. So your job is to be able to spot it. All right. If the thing is at the placement stage, you can see it. So I told you that check those who are doing betting, check those who are doing more cash transaction, and you have brought in the real estate, the developers and all those things. So once you see it in the question, and if I remember, I was present at the launch of the new syllabus. I was present. And they said, ICAG said that they are going to center the exams around what do we call it? Hospitals. Health. Going to be about health. And it is going to be about this real estate. I wasn't surprised. Just after that meeting, the next exam that was written in case study, it was somebody who was going to do a detachment building and all those things. So I wasn't that surprised. So be careful. Be careful. Your money laundering activity may corner around that side. All right. So look at it. How are they going about their transactions? If you see layering, you see putting money in foreign accounts and all those things. It will help you spot the issue of money laundering. So that is what we need to know under money laundering. And of course, on Saturday, we will take a look at the past questions and you will see that, okay, so this is how they are likely to picture the thing. So the first objective for today, money laundering, is done. If you have a question, you can ask. Other than that, we go to the next objective for today, where we talk about the auditor's liability. Auditor's liability. Last 2 weeks, I was in a seminar with these lecturers, professors from Chicago, and they were trying to find solutions to this auditor's liability. You see, the thing is that from that seminar, what I could deduce from it is that when we say that the shareholders appoint auditors, in reality, no shareholder appoints auditors. It's the same directors who appoint the auditors. But in theory, shareholders appoint auditors. But in reality, come on, think about it. Who tells this auditor you are coming to my office to do the audit? Is it not the same directors of the company? It's the same directors. In reality, you could sense that. So this issue of corporate governance, it hasn't been solved yet. it hasn't been solved yet. So here, what we need to understand is that an auditor can face both a criminal liability or a civil liability. Criminal liability, why? Because he has done something in terms of breaking the laws of the state. And so he can be criminalized. But civil is a case between two parties, and therefore that one, you may be subjected to suffering losses. All right, so basically that is that. But the auditor, to whom does the auditor owes a liability? Now, we said that the auditor is ultimately appointed by shareholders. But not only the shareholders, there may be other stakeholders, which we call the third parties. The third parties. The third parties. All right. So we have said that the shareholders appoint the auditors. Of course, that makes the whole thing look like the auditors are responsible for everything that they do in terms of their relationship with the shareholders. So what you learn is that for when it comes to the shareholders, we talk about these three things. We have the duty of care. Then we have issues of negligence. Then we have losses suffered. Now, the truth is that as far as the shareholder and the auditor is concerned, the duty of care is automatic. It is automatic. Right from the beginning, you know that you owe a duty of care to the shareholders because they will rely on your work. But what about the third party? The third party, the auditors owe duty of care to the third party when they know that those people will place reliance on their job. So if at the time of doing the audit report, they know that the third party will place reliance on their audit report, then it means that the auditor also owes duty of care to those people. And so if there is any negligence, like the auditor forgets to do something about it, then it means that right from here, the auditor is liable as far as the shareholder is concerned. But with these people, they have to prove that the auditor was negligent on the fact that he should have known that they were putting reliance on his, the audit opinion. But as for the shareholders, it's an automatic reliance on the audit opinion. So the auditor is liable. So it is automatic that they will be liable for any negligence. Yes, when it comes to suffering of losses, that one too, here it is automatic for the shareholder because that is what they depend on. But again, the third party has to prove that they suffered losses because of their advice or the report of the auditor. So these are the situations that can happen. Of course, therefore, the auditor needs to find ways of reducing his liability. He needs to find ways of mitigating this whole liability. So we are going to learn the ways of mitigating the liabilities. So how do you reduce it? The mitigations, the possible solutions to these kind of liabilities. In fact, the first on top of the list is what they normally do. They do it when you go to bank. So right, you are going to help us what your people do. We call it a disclaimer. I see these things in banks a lot. Anytime I go to EcoBank, I see their financial statement. Beneath the financial statement, do you know what they write? This financial statement is for the sole use of the shareholders. Any other third party who uses the information does so at his or her own risk. That is what they do. That is what they do. The next time you enter a bank, check. You see that is what they have stated. Check. Now, so that is what happens. That is what happens. So we call it a disclaimer. A disclaimer is just kind of telling people that if you use the thing, it is at your own risk because I didn't do it for you. Basically, that is what a disclaimer is saying, that I didn't do it for you. So if you do it, it is at your own risk. So that is that. Any question on that? Do you think it solves problem? Do you think a disclaimer is a good thing?
Yes, it's very good.
It's very
How can
good.
it be good? How can it be good? It's a lie.
But if I have issued a disclaimer that I prepared this statement for the use of this particular party, if you use it at your own peril. You cannot hold me responsible for using an information I did not provide for you.
I understand what you're saying. But before the bank come into existence, there has been investors. What of that
And
one?
the investors are the shareholders, and those are the people that
Yes.
prepare the financial statement.
But said it means you are telling us that we can't trust you that much. And you,
So,
the auditing firm, your integrity too is at stake.
but why are you the one who
It
appointed?
means you are not. Oh, so the bank has now become a public property that the public is interested in it. So we are interested in knowing what the bank is doing. You are my uncle.
Okay.
Your money is there. You are
My
a
brother,
shareholder over there.
How did you become
assuming
interested?
that
Have you invested in it?
assuming that based on the financial statements I prepared or I audited, okay, and I am an investor, I look at it and invest into it, thinking that they have made profit over the year. But in the year that I invested, they make losses. You cannot hold the auditors responsible, liable for your loss.
Yeah, I get the argument Emmanuel is making, and it makes sense. All right, like I said, these are the issues that the seminar wanted to address. So this whole disclaimer issue. Like, of course, the bank are for shareholders, but some of us, we are not shareholders, but our money is at the bank. Yeah, our money is at the bank. We are also stakeholders. So if you say the thing is only for shareholders and it doesn't concern me, the shareholders, do they exist on their own? Is it not me that puts my money there for them to also have what they want to have? So those are the issues. So there is a debate about this whole thing about disclaimer. People are saying that it dodges the auditor from responsibility, from all those responsibilities, because it's like he has isolated himself from every problem that will come. And that is not coming from, like, let's say, the shareholder, but any other person. It's a whole debate that is coming around. And I think last week I was trying to tell you what the professor said, what he is trying to do, that insurance companies should be the one that appoints auditors. And the auditor will be insured, so that when his work gives any mistake, then the premium that he has been paying to the insurance company will indemnify the people. So if your premium is huge, then that means that you are a high risk audit people, because if you know you will do your job well, your premium should be down. So the professor proposed that thing. He said, according to what, and I told you the last time, this is a professor who was a witness of the Arthur Anderson case, a very old man, Enron and Arthur Anderson case, and that was his proposal. Apparently, he was not at the right side of politics, so they quashed the idea. But you see, America is such that it's a state-run country. So a state accepted it, but federal did not accept it. So that is how it is. All right. So these are the issues concerning it. When it comes as something to discuss in your exam, there's no right or wrong answer. Be bold and write what you think. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. All right. So that is that. That is that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please, I have a question on the negligence and the losses suffered. The burden of proof, is it the third parties that will do the proof? They have to
Yes,
prove
like
that.
I've said, you could see that I've drawn it here, that the third party's proof.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So do you have to prove? I mean, without you saying it, who knows that you suffered losses? You have to come and prove that. So basically, that is that. So one is the disclaimer, but you see, you can actually do your work well to avoid all these liabilities. So that is where professional skepticism come in. And what is professional skepticism? It's just a three-layer conversation. We said that if professional skepticism means that you have to be open-minded to the fact that people can actually make mistakes. So open-mindedness is be open to ask questions. So so get to know that errors exist. People do stuff intentionally and unintentionally. People do stuff. Get to understand. Open your mind to that. Don't say it is your pastor. It's a mosque money. Imam will not do it. The pastor will not do it. No. Be open-minded. As a matter of fact, they are not accountants. Even if they are, they can do corner one or two. So be open-minded to the fact that it can happen. Don't trust the person that, oh, no. Don't say the firm has proper accountants and so there will be no errors and all those things. No. Be open-minded to the fact that it can happen. And so he says that have this alertness. All right. Be alert to it happening. So if it is happening, you should be able to spot it quickly. All right. Then the last thing is critical evaluation of evidence. Critical evaluation of evidence. In audits, evidence is persuasive rather than conclusive. In audit. I mean, I put the thing in my financial statement, and you are saying that I should give you evidence of that. I'm the one who put it there. You are saying I should give you evidence. Then what evidence do you think I'm going to give to you? Do you think I'm going to give you evidence that will say that I am kind of having, I'm doing some kind of illegal thing, I'm stealing money or anything? No, it won't happen. The evidence that I am going to give you is the evidence pertaining to what I have put inside the financial statement. So I'm trying to persuade you to take what I have done. So that is that. So evidence is persuasive rather than conclusive. So you have to critically evaluate those evidences. Evaluate it. All right. So that is that. Okay. Another thing that we can talk about is to become an LLP, limited liability partnership. Like you see, I always say that this PricewaterhouseCoopers, please, can you hear me? I just had a signal that internet is misbehaving. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you. All right. So now, what basically what is happening is that you do a limited liability partnership so that your liability are only limited to the amount you contributed, because partnership is kind of it's like a sole proprietor. But if you make it a limited liability, it will be limited to the amount of capital that you put in there. Not only limited liability, you can become an LLC, limited liability company. So that one too is there. Then we have what we call proportionate liability. Proportionate liability. What is proportionate liability? In P, we call it yenchentia. So if the person is going to sue you, you agree the amount of compensation that can happen. You split it in proportions of wrongdoing. Because you, the firm, you might do the wrongdoing, the auditor too might not be able to spot. So in case of any suing, you share between the entity and the auditor. All right. So that is that. If in case you are sued, the liability is shared. So we call it proportionate liability. All right. In fact, some people have gone to the extent of letting their government do a cap. So there's another one that is government set liability cap, that you can't sue them beyond a certain amount. So there is a cap. All right. You can't sue them beyond a certain amount. So these are the things. Then there is also insurance. There are two types of insurance policy that you can do. We have the fidelity guarantee insurance and we have the professional indemnity insurance. So fidelity guarantee, we have professional indemnity, PII, professional indemnity insurance. Then we have fidelity guarantee insurance. What is PII? So it's just that it's the normal way people do insurance. So if you are sued, so the auditor will also do insurance so that when he is sued for any negligence, then the insurance company will compensate him. But fidelity guarantee concerns the team that goes to people's office to do the audit, so that if a team member goes to steal something, commit fraud, or any dishonesty, then it means that the insurance company will come to their aid. All right, so that is that. So basically, these are the ways you can do to actually reduce your liability. It's a very examinable area. It comes every year. It comes. This year, I think this will be the last question, the last exams, and you need to watch out for auditor's liability because it's a current issue anyway. It is an issue that is happening. It is because of this thing the 666 came. All right, it's a current issue, and so this one is the most the thing is that the court is the one that can decide that you are disclaimed from that liability. It's a proof of the court. You can't say you issue a disclaimer just like that, like the way we are discussing it in terms of the banks. I save my money there. So which one is I'm not. I mean, you are not part of the people I communicated to. All right. So these are some of the things you can go through to reduce the liability. If you also believe that insurance companies should be the ones to appoint auditors, it is a research paper. It's still up for discussion. If it wasn't accepted in UK, let's see if Africa will accept it. US. Let's see if Africa will accept that. All right. Any question on auditor's liability? Any question on that? Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Please, on the limited liability partnership, I didn't get the explanation. Or can you please
It's a partnership. It's just that it is limited. Partnership is not a limited liability. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Partnership is just like a sole proprietor, but there is a possible way of doing the liabilities limited to how much you contributed as a partner. That's all. So if there is any liability,
in the case of the auditor,
yes, but auditors are partnership. You don't know. Audit firms are partnership firms. It is these days they are going LLP. But audit firms started. So like you hear KPMG, it's 4 people coming together. PricewaterhouseCoopers is 3 people. Deloitte and Touche was 2. Like that is how it is. They are individuals forming partnership and they use their initials as the name of the company, the name of the audit firm.
Like DHL.
And that's how it is.
Yeah.
So audit firms are partnership in nature. They are partnership in nature.
Yeah, please, what about LLC, the limited
So
liability
LLC is where you decide to make it a company, incorporated company.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
The
please.
audit firm is turning into a company.
Sir, because of limited liability agreement.
Come again. You said what is limited liability agreement?
Yes, please.
No, sorry, I'm asking a question. I'm saying that does it mean you turn the partnership into a company or what?
Yes, company, that is it. Why is it that it's not possible to turn a partnership to a company? Is it surprising?
No, like how can this be? I want to know then how it can be turned.
You go to Registrar General, you go there, you fill a form, you've created a company. The way you are making it sound, it looks as if it's something that is a big deal. Like you can't, like it's a big deal. It's nothing. You are but you form companies.
So they are saying you also have to get the minimum capital requirement that companies are
Yes,
supposed
so
to.
far as a company is a company, yes, everything that requires to be a company, yes, that is it.
But it's still an audit firm, an audit concern.
Yes.
Rashid.
It's like you are surprised. That is something that it is surprising me.
Okay.
Yeah, start now.
It's like you are surprised that it can be a company. Who is that?
Okay.
All right, so I have something in the Dropbox. How changing it to a company mitigates the liability? I'm sure that is what they want to. No, that is not what he wants to ask. In fact, if that is it, that is easy. Because that one it's like it's capital contribution. So your liability is limited to your capital contribution. All right. So if it is limited by shares too, then how much you have paid in terms of your shares. So that one will mean that it won't come to you as an individual. Like when it was a partnership, it would have been. Because if it is a partnership, you know that the partnership are just
now
like.
we can't.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I was saying is that if some partnership is just like a sole proprietor. In fact, those of you who do tax, you know that the taxation of a partnership and especially the partners is just like doing a sole proprietorship. So it means that your liability is even limited to your personal belongings. But if you don't want it to be so, then you will do an LLP or LLC. So LLP means that your liabilities are limited to the amount you contribute to the partnership. So it ends there. It doesn't come to your personal stuff. All right. So that is that. Then we have incorporation. Incorporation simply means that you are actually separated from the company. And so if there is anything, it doesn't come to you. All right. So that is that. He said that what about performing the audit according to international standard? That is the professional skepticism that we talked about. All right. So you are doing your job as it should be done. So it means that you are doing the job as it is. Ethics is in place. All the things, the ICES have been applied. You have critically evaluated your evidence. It saves you from the liability. But you see, that's the problem. We know the laws are there, but do people do that? Obey it? Yeah, so that is the issue there. All right, so Emmanuel, your hand is up.
Thank you, sir. So you said it all, but I think what is confusing my brother is registering an auditing firm as a company and auditing a company is where I am of the view.
Hold on, if you come again, registering an audit firm as a company.
Auditing firm as a company, yes, and auditing a company as an institution. I am of the view that's where it's
auditing a company as an institution. That part I don't get. So you are going to audit, let's say, A Limited.
Yes.
That you are a company going to audit a company.
Yes, yes.
But that one, there shouldn't be a problem. So let's say my company is Deloitte Limited, and I'm going to audit. I'm going to audit A Limited. Is that the problem?
That's what I'm thinking.
No. How would that? You are not the same. So you are an auditing firm, auditing company. Okay. So you go and do audit some. But as to you registering an audit firm as a company, it's also allowed. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, sir.
No, it looks as if there is this kind of thing like you cannot register an audit firm as a company. I think that is where the thing is about. Like it's like you cannot.
That is it. That's the confusion.
According to who? That you cannot. Yeah, there's nothing like that. So okay, that is why I am surprised that it looks as if it's not possible. Like, no, say you are still, yeah.
Please tell them they pay taxes.
Oh yeah, they pay taxes. Audit firm pay taxes. And they pay taxes in the name of the audit firm. So how could that be if it is just so that is that? So it's possible. It's possible. It's not like it's something that cannot happen. So that's why I'm surprised. Like, to say you are saying is that the no? He said after registering, are you subject to audit by? Oh, of course, audit firms are audited. They are audited. Oh, so
The
like
compliance,
are you also?
the
Oh, of
compliance
course.
team of the compliance team of ICA.
Yeah.
If only you
Audit
are
firms are
registering
also
under them.
audited. And so they are not, it's not like they are God, no. They are also audited. Hey, they also prepare financial statements. So why wouldn't they be audited?
Who
Regulators
watches the
audit
watchman?
them. So that is it. All right. So basically that is that. All right.
Sir, please, I have a question on the mitigation. One
Mhm.
being the disclaimer. So, being the disclaimer. So, if a disclaimer is issued by an entity or by the auditor that those who are not party to the information should not rely on it, and reliance on it is done so by their own risk. Is does it mean what the disclaimer intends to do?
Yeah, that is what a disclaimer is.
Okay. So only interested parties are supposed to.
Yes, only the people that they feel the employer. So that is the debate. It's a debate. Is it okay? Do you think it's okay?
No, it's subjective. It's relative.
Exactly. So that is it. It is yet to be tested, and it is the court that tells you that, oh, this guy shouldn't be part of the third party or the party who shouldn't have used the information. You see, it's very subjective kind of. So yes, it is open up for debate. It is there like that.
Okay.
Yes. Any more questions? Any more questions? So those are the issues, all right, and it's good you brought the issue. So we clarify it, and it helps settle any form of kind of doubt in our minds. All right. So that is that. So objective two is also cool. Now we are coming to the big deal, which we call practice management. I think I asked some of you some questions, and it brought some laughter the last time. I'm going to ask the question again because we are going to look at practice management. And practice management has two broad areas. We are talking about how to obtain a client. So the ladies, I'm coming again. How to obtain a client. And how to maintain. Is it this class that somebody said it happened in a trotro?
No,
That
sir.
she had a husband in a trotro. It was in this class. In one of my classes, a lady said that she met the husband in a trotro. So how to obtain a client? So I asked the lady, so how did you guys meet your husband? So now, hold on. We have the direct contact. We have the advertisement. So I'm going to call out someone. So Rahi, are you still there? The advertisement. Then we have tendering. These are the three ways. So I'm going to call out a lady. You tell me. In fact, where is Mohammed today? The cola man. Mohammed is not here.
I don't think he's on board. He's not on board. See, he's not on a call.
All right. In fact, Rahi, can you help us? How did you meet him? Or in fact, who can I use?
Right, is unattached.
But unattached care. According to who?
Please, so ask the men, how did you get?
Yes, I'm coming to the men. I'm coming to the men.
Peace.
I'm coming to the men.
They said ladies. Peace.
So the guys, how did you meet? How did you meet her? The men. In fact, Mohammed would have given me nice answers today, but Mohammed is not in class. Alhassa Abdullah, what do you have to say? How did you meet her? Did she advertise, or you advertised? Did she come to you? You advertised.
Yes.
How did you do the advertisement?
There was this gentleman in my office doing national service. So in one of our informal discussion, I told him I wanted to marry a teacher.
Oh, okay.
So he then said, oh, I have a sister's daughter who is in a training college and she's about to complete. So from there, he gave me her contact.
Specification.
Contacted her. He gave me her contact. Later, I called her and we met and we discussed. That's all.
So from Abdullah's comments, if you are using the advertisement, the advert should be clear and accurate. This one is not like any ambiguity. I want a teacher. That's all, straightforward. Clear and accurate. All right. It has to be clear. So there's nothing like no comment that is misleading. It's a simply put statement. I want a teacher. And the guy also sorted it out. Simple and short. Simple and short. So in terms of the advertisement, one thing you should do is that the advert should be just clear and precise. All right. Then number two, if you are doing adverts, in fact, I had a discussion with one of my colleagues. He actually said that auditors don't do adverts. And I've been thinking about it. I don't recall me hearing audit firm doing adverts. In fact, it is not because they are not allowed. It is because their name is now doing the advert for them. Because Yanum and Associates advertise. But these Deloitte people, they won't advertise. In fact, they are building a loan on the Joulu Street advertises for them. If you pass through PwC building, you will see that it's a big building. It's advertising for them. KPMG, if you pass through that site, what do you call that name? Where the Canadian embassy is, that road. What do you call it? Like if you are going to the La Paz, the Achimota roundabout, then you Abelempe. So that is that. You see, you walk past there, it's big. Right there, clear, KPMG. There. That is it. So the auditors, it's not like they are not allowed to do auditors, the advert, they are. But when they are doing it too, they shouldn't put any unsubstantiated claims. And this thing is something that I take personal. These unsubstantiated claims. So you can't say that you are the best auditing firm in Ghana. Who awarded you the best auditing firm? I had a problem with one guy in a group that I joined. I was in Chartered Institute of Taxation group. I finished a long time, but I don't know why they have not taken me. I was still in the student page. Then one of the tutors wrote a book, and the guy said that buy the book. He said something. He said like, it will change your life or something.
Buy
and I
the
said
book
that,
and you'll be rich.
and I buy the book and why were you on that page?
No.
He said buy the book
I've
and
watched,
you'll be rich.
I've watched the video.
Okay. He said buy the book and you'll be rich. And I commented, how does buying a book makes you rich? don't you think it's a statement, it's a direct statement, you don't have substance to it? Just buying the book doesn't make you rich. Maybe you need to go further. The knowledge in the book will make you rich, or like something. The guys just said that buy the book, and I had a problem with that. So I said that we are professionals. Don't make unsubstantiated claims. Has somebody come out and said that he bought the book and he was rich? No. In fact, if buying the book will just make you rich, I felt like he should market the book well. That like the knowledge in the book and all this, like talk about the book very well. And as a matter of fact, I had already planned buying the book already. Yeah, I already planned. In fact, I had finished the course, but like it is done in the professional setting. I have books I like so far as tutors, big men that I know have written in terms of if it is accounting, Mr. Ado writes, I buy even when I don't use. Yeah, you just have to buy. And I've even told you, some of you guys, that I buy the ICA book to decorate my room. The color is so nice. You can use it to decorate your room. Doesn't necessarily mean you are using it. So, but the fundamental thing is that just don't make statements you cannot back up. But however, if you have won an award, then you can put it there. All right, you can put it there. Another thing about advertisement is that you should not do any adverse comments. So don't say these people are not doing it well, you are doing it well. You are not allowed. In fact, it's not allowed. Then you have to practice professionalism. And the professionalism we are talking about, I always say, right, he will tell us, if they are doing a banking advert, you see how they dress. For the bankers there, you go back. So the way they dress, gently, nicely, professional dressing, this is not the other form of advert people do. All right. Then the use of the ICAG logo must be present so that we will know that you are membership with the ICAG. These are the things you do in the advert. All right. But when it comes to a direct contact, I hate those people who do direct contact like that. You see the person, please, I want your number, and you want to go ahead, talk. Yeah, but people also say that is Vim movement. You do that, that is it. So direct contact is going straight. Please, we are auditors. If you want us, you can appoint us. We will do your work. We learned in regulatory that before an auditor can be appointed, he has to give his consent. So you go to people telling them that you are ready to give your consent to, do the audit work. That one too is there, where the client approaches the audit firm, usually by referral and some form of way, then the audit work goes on. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Okay, so the direct contact is there. The client can come to you and say, oh, we want auditors, then you do it. You too, you can put yourself in a position where the client can actually approach you. Sometimes people do referrals and recommendations, and that one happens. This is the one that your exams is about. Nobody really question advertisement, but this is the key one. Tendering. So what is tendering about? Now, in terms of tendering is about strategy. Now, when you are tendering for a job, you are basically telling a prospective client who has invited people to bring a bid that you are well capable of doing the job. And so you are going to tell the client that I can do your job. So if you are going to tell the client that you will be able to do his job, then you should communicate something massive for him to pick you up, because it is tendering and you are not the only person there. You are many. So why should the client pick you? So it talks about audit strategy, your strategy, how you think you are going to go around the audit. So we will talk about this again. And so normally I don't really rush it, because the question is what are some of the things you will put in a tendering document when tendering for a job. Now, the things that you put in the audit document is the same thing you put in an audit plan. Yes, so it's the same thing. It's also the same question as what are the things you consider when planning for an audit work? It's the same thing. Now, but for the meantime, I'm going to give you these things. The strategy must state the nature of the work that you are going to do, the nature and objective. So what are you coming to do? Audit. Okay, fine. Which form of audit? Is it reasonable assurance or limited assurance? You must let the person know. You must talk about the scope, the boundaries of the audit. Are you using IFRS or you are using IFRS for SME? Are you using international standard of auditing? You must talk about that. You must talk about resources. Do you have the resources? And that is very, very important. The ladies, tell me, what are the things you consider before choosing your hairdresser? Yes.
The towel you used to wash the hair.
The towel she will use to wash the hair. That's fine. Yeah, the towels. Do we have types?
The hair product.
The hair products. So you see, if your exam question is like the things you consider before taking a client or you doing anything, these are the same thing. So you just told me that the resources the person has is something you consider. Is that not what you are saying? So you said towel and what? You said something product, the hair product.
Yeah, the hair product.
So resources. All right. What else? What else?
The apparatus, the dryer.
They are still resources. What else do you consider? The what?
Experience.
And the experience.
The experience, good. So it's also resources like staff and equipment. Yes. In fact, the guys, you can join in things, the cost. That is what I wanted. The cost. You guys, you ladies are talking as if you don't consider price, but I think it's the first thing you people talk about. Fees.
Location.
Fees is something that is something you can put inside your it is. And please, when it comes to fees, the location, yes, you look at it. Yes, the location. But the fees, we spoke about contingency fee, and we also, yes, please.
Sorry,
Yes, and low
please.
balling.
The first item to consider, the thing you said, nature and objective. And the nature and the objective, you mentioned something about limited engagement. And if you can explain a little for me, I'll be appreciate it.
I made a make us a video. But because I have already done that. Yeah, I've done that. I will explain it, but I want to ask you a question. Well, did you join our first class?
No.
You didn't join. Did you watch the video? Did you watch the video of the class you missed?
Yes.
So then you should know reasonable assurance and limited assurance. Then it means when you are watching the video, pay attention to it. Because it's an examinable question. And in the video, I said that. All right. So when you go back to watch again, but I'll explain to you. And please, when you are watching the video, playing the video doesn't mean you are watching the video. Don't deceive yourself. You can play it, but it doesn't mean you are into it. So I said reasonable assurance and limited assurance. All right. So is it a reasonable assurance work? Is it a limited assurance work? Reasonable assurance work is just like external audit, okay? And limited assurance work is just like a review audit, all right? So but if you still want me to go deeper into what reasonable assurance is and limited assurance, that one day I'll tell you to go and watch the video. All right, so basically that is that. All right. So we talked about fees. Somebody is giving me feedback a little. I think Michael, try and mute. Let me see. All right. So that is that. Now we talked about fees, and after the class, I had a very interesting conversation with one of you. So I spoke about contingency fee the last time, and I said contingency fee is banned. You remember? Do you remember about contingency fee?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And I spoke about the fact
depending on
that
outcome.
it is banned. Somebody has something in the Dropbox. Let me check. And yeah, so Emmanuel said abolish. Yeah. Then I also spoke about hello. Is somebody saying something? I heard I think the network is not good. All right. So, and I also spoke about low balling. Yeah, so my conversation with the student was about low balling. Now, interestingly, yes, in theory, you see, I explained low balling to you, and I said that low balling is also not acceptable. But in theory, you can say that, so those of you who even have my book, I highlighted a portion of that, and I said that low balling, I think when you read it, you see that low balling is not banned, but however, some countries have tried to stop it happening. Yeah, but especially in our country, that is how theoretically it is. All right, that we don't accept it. That is where it's coming from. But you see, so the person said that, and it's a very good question. I like it when students do that. So he said that, but say, if I take a low price and I'm still able to do the job, isn't it okay? And I also asked him, will you take a low price if you are going to do a quality job for somebody? So will you do that? So it's a question I have for you.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. For the first time, you want to take the low price so that the person will accept you. When you go, you do a better job. Subsequently, you increase your price. Then it's like you've made the name already, so there's no need bargaining so much.
Have you been in a situation where the person now tells you that, but you took that at that price? So, say like in P, like they will say, oh, say then you increasing the price is now a problem.
No, then I'll tell you the job I'm and say, well, we need to.
Yeah, it's true, especially in our parlance, it happens, but those are the things. Then the person now tells you that probably yours is now expensive, so he's going to look for another person. You think it doesn't happen? Hello, peace. Let's have the discussion. So
Sir, it does. But most of the time, people would like to go for, most of the businesses now would like to go for the low balling at the first time.
Yeah. I get that part. But I'm talking about the subsequent time.
Suppliers do it. Where I work, as suppliers do it. The first time they will give you something low, then you use it so that the quality is there.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah, they do it. The quality where the next time you are going, they tell you that compare my work with the other work.
Please let her finish.
So they tell that compare my work with the other person's work. Which one is good? They give you that option. You yourself, you go for them again.
So the quality now becomes the marketing strategy.
The benchmark, yeah.
Yeah. So Ignatius, you were also saying something.
Yeah, she spoke what I wanted to say. Like they say in marketing, they call it penetration pricing. They give you low prices from the beginning, and when you are addicted to them, they increase the price.
Yeah, that is in marketing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
They are even willing to make a loss for getting the client. Then after that, the problem always comes in the after that one. That is where the problem always comes. So then the next time, maybe you want to go in there, talk about pricing, then the person who can now say that, so these days your mouth is big, your mouth inside is big. You were no boy like you are expensive now. Yes. Yeah, so those kind of things. All right, and it becomes a challenge. So in ICA, they have a soft stomach for lowballing. So they said that lowballing is accepted, but it is preferable not to do it as long as quality of work is not affected and the client is also told that fees is lower than standard. So here, what we do is that you do lowballing with disclosure. ICAG part is to accept lowballing with disclosure. So from ICAG perspective, what you are and those, if it is something that I've quoted in the book that you bought, you'll find it. So for ICAG's position in the international front, I mean, they said mark quality with price. So that is that. But ICAG here has soft stomach for it. It says for ICAG, it is about the fact that you do the low price, but quality is still assured. It's still assured. And you have to disclose. So like what Peace is saying, so please, I'm giving you this price because it's the first time. It's below the standard because it's the first time. But I won't charge that the next time. So you disclose to the person. So quality is maintained. Disclosure is also done with it. Then that is fine. All right. That is fine. So these are things that goes into your strategy and in your tendering document. All right. So basically that is that. Now, after you have gone through these stages, advertise, do a direct contact and all those things, probably the client will accept you. And so we talk about factors to consider when accepting a client. And these are the things that are here are part of it. You can also add the location, the integrity of the client. So all the ethics thing that we have done, you can also talk about that. All right. You consider the resources that you have. You check up everything, the risk, everything. Then you go, once that thing is done, then you go on to sign what we call an engagement letter. An engagement letter. The engagement letter is just a letter of contract that spells out the responsibilities, the right and responsibility of the parties. So it just gives everybody clarity. All right. So the purpose of the engagement letter is actually to define to everyone what each and every person is supposed to do inside the contract. All right. Again, it is a written document of acceptance. Yes, please. Is there a question?
Who issued the engagement letter?
You said who issues an engagement?
Yeah, is it the clients or the auditor?
Engagement letter is a letter of appointment.
So I'm saying
I'm explaining it to you, and I will let you answer it yourself.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It's a letter of appointment. So who do you think is issuing it? I'm employing you.
The directors.
Exactly. All right. With this, I think you will never forget the answer. So is the client, all right? But do you know what happens in reality? It's a lot to type in the engagement letter. It's a lot. So do you know what has been happening in reality? The audit firms have a template of the engagement letter. They will send it to you, you print and you sign and you give it to them. Because inside, we are coming to talk about some of the things that are inside the engagement letter. So that is why perhaps they do that. In reality, that is what happens. Nobody, in fact, in the firms that I have worked with, the auditor will always send the soft copy, you print, then you sign the hard copy, you bring it, and they also take it. Why? I've already talked about the essence of it. It clarifies the everybody's job, the directors and the auditors' responsibility. It is the form of acceptance of the appointment. All right, the auditor gets it and he affirms his appointment. All right, so and it confirms any verbal arrangement. So it's just like your employment contract. But hold on, inside this employment contract or the engagement contract, and this thing has been examined before. So be careful, listen well. There are things that shall be inside the engagement letter. So compulsorily, it's a shall. And there are things that may be. And so this one is funny. We say it like this. You go to the exam hall and the examiner will give you a sample engagement letter. Then it is your job to find out if the shall be's are in, if the may be's are also done well. Maybe it's not compulsory. So if it is not there, no problem. But the shall be is compulsory. And it is funny. Students went and met this thing. They said they were not taught. How? How? Or you wanted the examiner to say, state 5 things that shall be in an engagement letter. Is that how you want the question? If that is how you want the question, then you should go back to level 1. So this one is a practice. So he drafted the engagement letter, and most of the things that shall be in an engagement letter weren't in. So it says that criticize or comment on the engagement letter. You say you don't know. When we have learned that there are certain things that shall be in an engagement letter. So the things that shall be in an engagement letter are the same thing we spoke about here. Some of these things, especially this one. So the things that shall be in an engagement letter, number 1 is the objective and the scope of the audit. The objectives. It is a shall be. It must be there. Objective and the scope. Then the auditor's responsibility. The moment you see auditor's responsibility, then another responsibility should also follow, which is the management responsibility. Then you can add the applicable standards. All right, standards. So the framework for reporting. Then the last one is the content, the expected form of communication. Form of communication. So the audit report, how should it be? So these are the 5 things that compulsorily should be in an engagement letter. The others are free. It's not by force. You can put in your fees, how much you want to charge. All right. You can talk about the experts you want to use. All right. You can talk about how the arrangement you have made with your predecessors, the professional clearance, how the arrangement how you are going about with your professional clearance. All right. You can talk about how you want to obtain your written representation, which we will learn later on in the course. Written representation. Can talk about forms of other communications. You can talk about limitations to the audit. I mean, the composition of the audit team. All those things may be there. It's not by force, but you can choose to put them in. All right. So by this, you have actually done the audit acceptance. Then now you are with the client. So the next thing you need to learn how to do is how to maintain that client. How to maintain that client. That's the next thing you need to do. How do you maintain a client? We talk about 2 areas of that. We talk about ISQC at firm level. At the firm level, what do you need to do? At your audit firm level, what do you need to do to actually maintain the client? And on the job, what do you need to do to actually maintain the client? So at the overall firm level, what are the things that you need to do? Number 1, you need to show leadership. You see, this shouldn't be difficult for us as Ghanaians because it is because of leadership people are leaving this country. Is that not it? Is that not it? Why people are leaving Ghana a lot? Is it not because of leadership? How many of you here get the opportunity, they won't even blink, they will leave?
We are gone already. We are gone in our house. And
it is well. Calm down small. All right. So leadership is very, very important. What do we mean by leadership? What we mean by leadership is that you have to appoint a quality control officer. So quality control partner. Like I've told you before, this movie is a very good movie. Today, you people have given me a movie to go and watch. Then, me too, I'm giving you, I always talk about Suits. Suits has Louis Late as the quality control partner. There has to be somebody who is so bent on getting quality work. All right. So today, somebody asked a question on radio. Do we have ministers of lands and natural resources in this country? Do we have ministers of sanitation in this country? Are they aware of the galamsey?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Please, we are treating the topic. It says how to maintain a client.
Yes, please.
And ISQC at the firm level.
Yeah.
The firm level. Are you talking about what the auditor does to maintain the client and on the job?
Yes, at the firm level. In fact, anyway, the ISQC is International Standard of Quality Control. Okay. International Standard of Quality Control. So as an audit firm, what will you do so that when you get a client, you won't lose the client? Do you get it?
Yes, but what about the on the job?
We will do that. We are doing it systematic.
No, so does it on the job, does it still relating to the audit firm or what?
When I get there, you understand.
Okay.
All right. So in your firm as an audit firm, what are some of the things you do? So that one is the quality control partner that you need to have, so that every work that is done in the audit firm, he will go through it to see if quality was applied, like if it was done qualitatively. Then we have what we call professional skepticism. I think I've mentioned that. We know professional skepticism by now. All right, so that is that. You can also decide to add robust communication system. So that is that. Then number two, you need to think about your resources. As a firm, you need to have good resources, human resources. So when I talk about resources, it's always talking about two things, okay? So human resources, then we are talking about the equipment. I think some theories has come up with human capital, asset capital, IQ, intelligence, and all those things. So human resources. So here, recruitment is very important. Recruit staff with ethical background, high quality staff, all right, to do the job. That is why the audit firms, they take them young and they train them. You see, our audit firms are doing graduate management trainees. Audit firm, when they appoint you, they give you years to go and do ICAG or ACCAG, and they will pay. All right. Once you pass, they pay. If you don't pass, you pay it yourself. All right. So they encourage quality. All right. So that is what they do. All right. Then number three, the audit firm should properly document their things. So documentation is very, very important. Documentation is very, very important. You see, the standard of documentation says that you should document the audit process in such a way that if you are not there, it will be easier for somebody to pick what you have documented and go on with the audit work. Yeah. So that is that. Then fourth, we talk about appraiser. In fact, every firm is supposed to do appraiser, appraise quality work and punish shoddy works. All right. So those who do well, praise them. I'll reward them. Those who don't do well, punish them. All right. And don't overload your staff, because if people are overloaded, they make mistakes. All right. Then lastly, we talk about review, overall review. The form of review that is done at the firm level is called code review. Code review. So what is code review? Code review is simple. So when the job is done and they filed all the job that they did, they file it. All you need to do as a quality control officer is to go and pick the job that happened, pick it, and go through it to see if they apply the firm's policy in doing it. All right. So that is that. The firm's policy in doing it. So nobody flaunted on company policy. All right. So that is what goes on. We call it code review. Code review. Then on the job. So my good friend, who was that? I'm coming to on the job. So on the job, ISQC on the job. What do we mean by that? You see, the audit firm takes team members to somebody's office to do the job, all right? So it is now the turn of those who are on the field to ensure quality. That is why we say ISQC on the job, all right? How do you ensure as an audit firm that when they are doing the job itself, they will ensure quality work? Now, how will you ensure it? In helping them to do quality work, number one, all works must be planned and directed. You need to plan the work and you need to direct the work. Please, when we say direct, what does it mean? What does it mean to direct somebody? What does it mean? When we say you are directing somebody, what does it mean?
Assigning responsibility.
You guide.
You guide. So he's saying to guide. So you are telling the person, this is how your responsibility is. So you, like in Ghana, I say, when you pass here, you see a kiosk. If you see the kiosk, there is another cocoa seller opposite the kiosk. Take your right hand, there's a big gutter there. So you are directing the person, all right? You are guiding the person, all right? So that is that. You provide direction to the person, all right, as to what to do. Then you supervise the person. As the person is doing, you supervise. What is the distinction between supervision and monitoring? Is there a difference? What does it mean to supervise?
Supervision, you can give instruction as to how things has to be done. By monitoring there, you are there, watching how the person does the thing.
Is doing. So supervision is inclusive, monitoring is exclusive, right?
No.
Eh?
Monitoring is rather inclusive.
Monitoring is rather inclusive. Then supervision is exclusive. Expatiate, elaborate, talk more, discuss. I'm listening.
Peace only want to argue. She has nothing to say.
So in monitoring, you take records of the happenings. That is supervision, you direct on how to do what is required.
Yeah, exactly so. So that is that. Monitoring, you don't really, you just observing and recording. All right. So that is that. So you supervise, you monitor. It's part of the things you can do to help ensure quality work. Documentation too is also needed here, that everything is also documented. But review is also here. The kind of review that happens here is called a hot review. A hot review. A hot review is the review before you finish the job. And we will be doing it at the latter part of our course, review and reporting. You review the work before you sign off, all right? The code review is after you have signed off, but the hot is before you sign off. Okay, so you review the works. All right. So that is that. We also provide consultation where matters are unclear. So consultation is very, very important. All right. So these are things you go, and please, this thing too is examinable, and it's always examinable, whether you like it or not. Is there? Check through the past questions. So basically, this ends the professional consideration. But I said that we will talk about corporate governance, which we have already talked about. All right, we have already talked about corporate governance. But
the consultation said the
yeah.
consultation. It talks about that.
Oh, consultation is consultation. Sometimes the word is the word. It's consultation as it is applied anywhere in life. Don't assume it as a different word because you are learning it in audit. Other than that, you will be limited in explanation. Consultation is something I think you know, but probably because we have said it here, is there any different explanation? No. Consultation is consultation. You are not clear about something, you consult. All right, so you get clarity about it. So it's just like asking somebody a question to get clarity. It's the same consultation you know in the life.
Okay.
All right, so it's nothing different. Yeah. So basically that is that. So what I was saying is that the corporate governance aspect, we've looked at it, but I just wanted us to see or go over the internal audit, especially we will talk about reliance on internal audit, the auditor relying on the internal auditor, the external auditor relying on the internal auditor. But this word, outsourcing internal audit unit, what do you think about that? So we are an entity. Instead of us employing an internal auditor to always be sitting in the company with us and do his internal audit job, we decide to go and outsource it. So we take one of the audit firms and we say, please be our internal auditor, for which they will not be sitting in the company all the time. What are the advantages and disadvantages such that of outsourcing your internal audit unit? Because we've already talked about internal audit, and last week it was a very eye-opening experience. But I just want to ask this question. What are the advantages of outsourcing the internal audit unit? This one, you are not employing somebody to actually sit in the office with you all the time. But what you are doing is that you time in and time out, you let some auditors come and do some kind of audit on your work. Internal audit works on you, and they will give you feedback. What do you think are the advantages and the disadvantages?
Cost reduction.
Like the outsourcing is cost reduction.
Yes, because
please, I'm listening. Let her finish.
Because when you employ somebody, you're going to pay him a lot of benefits. When you are source, the amount you be paying are lesser than being employed.
Okay. Prince, your hand is up.
Yeah, I think there's a risk of breach of confidentiality with outsourcing.
Yeah, that one too is true. Yes, Ima, your hand is up.
You get experts to handle your books for you.
Okay, Ima Kobina, Tete.
So they also exercise independent judgment.
Yeah. So what you people are saying, you are just telling me that the outsourcing is far better than employing somebody into your office.
Yeah.
Just as Peace was saying, one, you'll not be paying taxes for the sitting employee.
Who said you'll not be paying tax for the
let me say you have 4 or 5 people.
Withholding is there.
Don't mind them. Don't mind them. Commissioner General, don't mind them.
Please wait. I know withholding tax is there, but this is a service they are providing. So withholding tax will be 1, but you have like 6
But the
for
withholding
6
tax is
people.
not your money. So which one is the problem? The withholding tax is the person's money you are withholding. So at the end of the day, there's nothing like tax. The person you are paying payee, it is his money. The payee, is it you, the company, your money? It's the person's money.
And
So
the other, another one also, you will
when
not
you
be
employ,
paying them any severance
yes,
packages.
yeah.
Hey, so you people, you are saying that we shouldn't be employed
Work.
as internal auditors.
No, and when you employ an internal auditor, he becomes, I don't know how to, there will be a familiarity trait. You can't familiarize with the people in the,
Well, I
thing.
get that part. Somebody said the
Yeah.
independence of the thing is very important.
And
Because
also
with the
the quality
sitting,
of work.
The quality of work, yes, this one you get, Professor Ignatius.
Yeah, said I was talking about familiarity, but the lady has raised it because they are not there with the employees always.
Yeah, I get that part.
Yeah.
Ignatius, your hand was up.
Objectivity to his them.
Yeah, I was
But
talking
you people,
about.
you don't. Ignatius, you finish.
Yeah, what I said was that I was talking about familiarity, not because they are sourced. The employees are not familiar with them, so they become objective in their activities.
I get it now. But don't you think that the guy too there's confidentiality issues?
But I said they sign.
Yes, please.
They sign.
And also security.
They sign
we
confidentiality
sign
clause.
confidentiality agreement.
See, this thing you people are saying, I get it. They sign confidentiality agreement. Are you saying the MPs who are here now and the politicians, they didn't sign anything and they are still doing some things?
That's the real reason why your brother said we should match all of them to Antwerp.
Yeah, so he said that.
For that one, there.
He said
Whether you
we are joking. My brother, he's in Germany, so he said we are not serious here in Ghana. He said if we want the good thing, let's match all of them to Antwerp. Just let them do it. Like if I do ABC, I'm dead. That one, they won't do me like they will conform. They will conform because in Ghana, as the tree balance says, "Nyame fa ne boa onto ne ntem." So that is why they are doing what they are doing. But if they pass them
That
through
one
Antwerp,
is because of the whites have deceived us with the that's why those who go to school
let me end it here.
they don't go to church because they feel that church is deceiving us.
I get it. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I know.
So those who are well educated, they don't think about church.
That is what they think. So they said we are using the Bible to deceive ourselves. Well, it is what it is. All right. So this is something that I wanted to find out. Something that we didn't touch on the last time. And
No, but
so
truly, Ghana problem, I don't know.
how will you know? If you know, you give us.
We are a Christian or a true Muslim, and all the bad things are happening. You don't know.
See.
If you are a true Christian, why should you do some of the things? If you are a true Muslim, why should you do it?
It's very interesting.
Don't cry over this.
We don't really know who is doing that.
See, Alasan, the way you are going with it, in fact,
Don't
if you
cry over
continue
this.
like that,
Your emotions are going high.
Oh yeah, sometimes when I am talking about it, I get agitated. Like it gets to a point I just have to stop just to protect my heart. Because in fact, me, if I'm talking about this thing, I'm seriously emotional. It's as if there is no brain in people's head. It's as if like as in it's something
an
which
act
is
of
there.
selfishness. It's an act of selfishness. You have
It's
no
something which is
conscience
there.
for whatever it is that
It's very sad. It's very, very sad. But Charlie, what can you do? It looks as if we should all pack our bags and leave this place. Hey.
Peace,
All right.
peace.
The traditionalism, it looks as if it is the way to go. Because you know what? This is just by the way. When I was young, you were not allowed to do certain things in the forest. Yeah, for
It's
this.
true.
Today I saw a video, and those of you who are in, I don't know if that place is the Cape Coast area or the Takoradi area, that the sea is dirty. The sea, the pra thing has gone into the sea. My brothers, it is the sea.
River Pra is now like
And the Ancobra,
Lipton.
the Ancobra.
River Pra is now like Lipton. All that you need is bread.
Hey, but it's serious. But Charlie, so that is it. Anyway, so class.
It's in Takoradi.
So class, this is the professional things that we have done. Now, the rest is for us to solve questions, okay? And we will look at them. So this is what I will be doing. So now, the question that I sent you guys, in fact, I will take time and look at your this thing again. When I use the cam scan, I think it was opening. And I realized that you use white paper to answer the question. Normally, I want you to use the lines. I want to see how you write in between the lines. Yeah, I want to see how your handwriting too is, so that if you can do something about it, then you do. It's all part of the answering. And do not write in either margins, no. Don't write in the margins. I check all these things, because if you write in the margins, it is -4 marks. So please take note of that. Don't write in the margins. The place they say do not write, just don't write. All right. So I always check all those things. So I'll look at it for you. And my good friend who is in I've forgotten, Enum Rural Bank. Yeah, I think that's the name of the place. Are you in the class? Enum Rural Bank, close to where Peace is.
Just behind my office. So
it's just behind your office.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's in Akosombo.
Yes, Akosombo.
Connect and vibe. Connect.
All right.
Please. So, what's his name?
Good one.
Oh, hold on. Let me get you the name.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just enter the office then.
His name is Akwatu.
Yeah.
His name is what?
Akwatu.
Is that Mr. Gabriel speaking?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. So that's the name. The name is Edem Harry Akwatu. Yeah. So you can.
Please connect. Please connect. Because you have
So you go
connected
there.
to Cynthia.
Sure.
Yes. You can do direct contact. I'm in class with you.
Yes. Straight.
All right. So this is the time for us to start solving the questions. All right. So now, see, you don't need to wait for me. You should try and start solving the questions. We will use some practice questions, but the questions that I've given to you as an assignment, please, by this time, we have done 35 mark of your course. So you should be able to answer the questions. And if you want to send me your solution, I will gladly look at them for you. If you also just feel like, okay, I've done it, it's fine, you don't need a second look at it, that one too, my good friend will say, "Ide you're there." But I think you should try and send it for me to comment on it. So by now, you should know how to answer ethical questions and professional questions. So we will practice that. So if you check your timetable, you see that I put practical session before we even do the class. We will look at one question, see how you will do that. So you could see that question 1, 2, mainly question 1 and 2, and question 3 are for these things. And so you should be able to answer them for me. So if you didn't do, some of you have commented on your question 1, and I think that by now you know that whether you did well or you didn't do well, all right. So you say that kindly post the assignment again. Okay, no problem. All right. So basically, that is that. So thank you very much. our focus now is on the questions.